Hey everyone, on this episode, we're going to discuss every single thing you need to keep in mind in preparation for your first dance to make sure that on your wedding day, everything runs extremely smooth. I'm Pasha.
I'm Danny, and you might have seen us on TV shows like Dancing with the Stars, So You Think You Can Dance, and World of Dance. And we're married.
That we are. We're also the creators of an online platform, WeddingDance.net, that has already helped thousands of couples all around the world to prepare for their wedding and learn their dream first dance. Today we're going to share with you all the most important things, and we're going to start with how to choose your song.
Basically, there's no right or wrong choosing a song. That is our probably most asked question, is how do you choose a perfect song for your wedding? It could be a song that you previously used to listen to with your significant other, or it could be something current that you love on the radio.
For us, personally, it was a song that we used to listen to on our long drives when we just started dating.
We always said that it was going to be our special first dance song, and we stuck to that. So when we had our wedding, we were probably the only ones who knew that song in general, and that was okay. Mm-hmm. People don't have to sing along to your wedding song, So if it's special for the two of you, that means it's the most perfect song for you.
If you need help choosing the song, to get some inspiration, you can always go on our site, WeddingDance.net, where we have the largest first dance library in the world, where you can not only listen to the songs, but you can also watch dance previews. Therefore, you can see what a dance to that song would look like.
When you're choosing your song, you definitely want to keep in mind that about 2 to 3 minutes is the perfect length for a first dance. Anything longer than 3 minutes can feel a little bit too long, so it's always best to keep it short and sweet. And from our experience, 2 to 3 minutes is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and doesn't mean that you have to choose the song of that length, because of course any song can be edited. So we suggest always editing the song, keeping all your favorite lyrics in it, but shorten it to about 2.5 minutes, somewhere between 2 and 3 is definitely a sweet spot. Another thing that we've learned from the experience is that if you decide that you want a live band and a live singer to perform your song at the wedding, what you need to make sure is that you send them the edited version of your song ahead of time and ask them to perform it exactly in that way. Since you're preparing your dance to that edited version of the song, you don't want to just tell your band to play that song and not give them any details, because they will most likely play the full version that will be way too long and will not match your dance.
Another question we get asked a lot is, how far in advance should you start practicing your first dance? We've had couples start about 2 weeks before their wedding, and they successfully did their dance and they absolutely loved it. And we've had couples start about a year and a half before their wedding, and it's honestly up to you. It's about how fast you can pick up the choreography and feel comfortable with it.
We always suggest to start 2 to 3 months in advance at least, just to make sure there is no stress closer to the wedding. As you know, probably a month before, 2 weeks before, there are going to be so many things popping up, million questions from your guests.
Dress, floral arrangements, so many stress factors.
Million other extra things are going to
Stress,
pop up.
ball change.
Stress.
Ball change.
So don't leave it to the last second. That's the only thing. Start in advance, and this way you're going to feel comfortable, you're going to feel confident by the time your wedding day arrives. And I think the biggest thing here is that couples that started way in advance, they told us that it was their way to decompress, their way to spend
a date night.
Yeah, date night. They told
us. They had a glass of wine. They danced around their living rooms, and for them it was kind of just a great way to have time together, and you spend some time together.
Yeah, so start as far in advance as you want and enjoy the process. Make it into a little date night. Cook dinner, light some candles, like Danny said,
Step on
pour
each
some
other's
wine.
toes. I'm just kidding.
Have some fun for sure, yeah. Definitely reduce stress, start in advance.
If you guys start a little bit more in advance, let's say you start before you get your engagement photos, if you learn this routine and there are some tips and tricks you learn, they look so great on photos. So you can actually take the moves you've learned already to your photographer, do them at your photo shoot, and your engagement photos turn out actually really, really, really romantic. So you can have your little dips, your twirls, and every in-action shot looks just so beautiful.
Yeah, so dynamic.
Yeah.
I know for sure that your photographer is going to thank you for coming in prepared with a couple of dance moves, because those are the photos that usually feel the most natural, not posed.
Yeah, we had a
very
couple
real.
actually recently. We taught them the routine, like a few months before their engagement photos, and they actually sent us a bunch of photos, and they ended up looking so, so beautiful. And she was like in a dip, and he was like spinning her, and her skirt was flying around. It was absolutely stunning.
When it comes to how often exactly you need to practice, it really depends on each couple. And we've had clients who like to practice once a week for 1 hour, and some that like to practice 3 times a week for 20 minutes. It is totally up to you. Of course, it will depend on how far in advance you start practicing. You might need to practice a little bit more often if you're getting closer to the wedding, or if you start a year in advance, you can maybe practice once a week for half an hour, 40 minutes. The beauty of having access to an online course is that you have unlimited access until your wedding day, and you can keep rewinding, rewatching the videos until you feel completely confident and comfortable.
Something else you should definitely keep in mind for your first dance is your dress. So whichever dress you decide to wear on your wedding day, just make sure you bustle it. And if it doesn't have a long train, it's totally fine to have like a nice little A-line. Your dress will not ruin your first dance at all. If anything, your first dance will look better in whatever dress you wear, because it'll be flying, it'll be moving. If you have a tight dress, you'll see nice little hip action. So no matter what you wear, our courses are designed in a way that any dress would fit. If you do have a train, make sure it is bustled, because when you're doing your underarm turns and your little twirls, maybe if you have a little dip, you just don't want to get your dress caught.
And I would add that we know that you bring your shoes to your fittings and you make sure that the dress is the right length. But then if you decide to dance barefoot or maybe in sneakers, you have to understand that now you are getting closer to the ground. The dress might be a little too long to dance. So make sure that you try all of those things in your fitting to make sure that you don't end up having a dress way too long just because you decided to do your first dance barefoot, and now you are stepping all over the dress and you might trip.
And we would suggest practicing in a dress or a skirt that is very similar style to your wedding dress, just because we want you to get accustomed to moving around in it. If it is super, super tight, wear a pencil skirt. Try to move around, see how big or small your steps have to be so you don't rip it or feel uncomfortable in any way. The best thing you can do if you wear a little A-line dress, you can grab your maxi dresses that are long and full. You can practice around those, right?
Yes.
In the house.
And we get asked this question a lot, that if I will be practicing in a skirt similar to my dress, my fiance will know the style of my dress. Some brides we know like to keep their wedding dress a complete secret, that the fiance doesn't even know the style of the dress. In that case, you can definitely throw him off track by wearing all of those.
Yeah, you can wear different styles completely. One tight, one loose, one big, small,
Yeah, so he might try to guess, but you will just confuse him that he will never figure it out.
Yeah, my favorite is actually one of our friends we choreographed for. She actually wore a comforter around her body, a bed comforter, because her dress was massive. It was so poofy, she was really worried about wearing it and dancing in it. It did work out. Spoiler alert. But she did wear a comforter. She wrapped her bed comforter around herself and practiced like that.
Yeah.
Like all the lifts and tricks, and it ended up working, so that was funny.
It's a great idea. If you have a chance to try and dance with each other right after your ceremony, before the reception, that little bit of time can be very helpful because now you've seen each other already during the ceremony.
Yeah, if you've done a first look, you've already by that time seen what you guys look like.
Yeah, and if you can find, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes just by yourself where you can go hide somewhere and try moving around in a dress. You can try moving around on your own just to see how you feel. You can try moving together, try a couple of turns, couple of dips.
And that brings us to our next question we get asked a lot, is the shoes.
The shoes are just like dresses, right? It is completely your choice. The only thing that is important to making sure that your first dance runs smoothly is that you try them. First of all, try dancing in them, even at home, even when you're practicing, just to break them in and feel comfortable in them. And then, for sure, bring those shoes to your fitting to make sure that the length of the dress is correct. And we would definitely suggest taking your shoes with you if you ever go to your venue, maybe to put the deposit or food tasting or for whatever reason. And you get to try your shoes on the actual floor where you will be dancing your first dance. You don't want it to be too slippery. You don't want it to be too sticky. You want to feel comfortable. And we have a little suggestion in case if it is slippery.
Yeah, we have something called Sure Grips, or any kind of rubber soles that you can stick on your dress shoe. So we actually use it a lot in ballroom dancing. When the floors are too slippery, we stick on a little bit of a rubber pad under our shoes, and that helps with traction on the floor. So you can do the same exact thing with dress shoes or whatever you can wear to your wedding venue. You can kind of have that as like a little cheat. You can bring that with you, and if it's sticky, you won't need it, obviously. But if it's slippery, you can right away stick them right on. They come already pre-sticky, pre-glued. So you can just peel off the sticker and stick them right on.
Self-adhesive.
Self-adhesive.
That's what we're gonna go with.
Yep.
Self-adhesive, pre-glued.
Pre-glued.
We offer 3 different course options. The first one is called Turnkey, and in case if you do not have your song picked out yet, it's a large library of popular songs where we have already choreographed the entire dance to that song, and you will get a step-by-step breakdown of the entire dance. We will demonstrate it to count, to music from various angles. We'll have 2 pop quizzes so that you can track your own progress and see how you're doing. You'll also get an edited version of your song. And
pretty much have everything done for you already. You turn your key, you walk into your apartment or your home, and everything is completely done for you. So you feel confident and there's no stress.
Yeah. And we'll also give you feedback if you tape yourself dancing your first dance at home, practicing. You can send us the video and we will review it and give you the feedback.
If you need feedback, because at that point you guys are pros.
True that.
If you guys have your song picked out, then we have our second option where you send us your song, we cut your song and edit it, and we choreograph to your specific song.
That is called a custom package. And another option, if you do have your song picked out, but you do not find it in our library, then you can also choose a DIY course. Think of that course as Lego. We teach you all different moves, and each move is like a piece of Lego. And then we teach you how to put all those pieces together into one complete structure, which is going to be your dance. We teach you all the lifts, tricks, twirls, dips.
And you can put them in any order you would like. You have a library of all the different types of steps we teach, and you can pick and choose whatever looks better on you and whatever you feel confident in the most.
Yes, and we teach you how to put them together to make it into a complete dance with a beautiful entrance, with a beautiful finale, and all other important ingredients that go into creating a beautiful first dance. If you know for sure that you want to choose one of the songs from our library, and because it is so big and there are so many options, and you feel you need a lot of time to think about it, to discuss it with your significant other, but you don't want to miss out on a current sale deal, for example, what you can do is you can purchase a open turnkey course. What that does is you basically now own a turnkey course, and then when you take your time and decide on the song, all you need to do is just message us and we will upload that specific course to your account on our site.
We hope this helped you out and we've answered all your questions. But if you still have questions, please feel free to either DM us on WeddingDance.School or you can contact us through WeddingDance.net and we will answer all of your questions there.
Please read the caption below. There is more information there. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time and we hope to see you at WeddingDance.net.
I get to love you. I get to love you.